I'm going to go check the oven because my pizzas might be ready, or there's 5 minutes left.
Pizzas, multiple.
Yeah.
They're like 6 inches, which is the equivalent of a
Simmons.
That's about twice as big as you.
Oh, you're talking about my penis.
What?
Yeah, my erect penis is slightly longer than 5 inches. Is that what you meant, Alex?
Jack, please leave that in the podcast.
Oh, of course. Yes, I am. Yeah.
Anyway.
Jack, can you cut that out and put that at the beginning? Hello and welcome to episode number
54
of the Extreme Hardware Podcast. We are lacking Simmons today because he is off servicing.
Simmons is off flying the drones.
He is busy servicing something, someone, or some country, or drone. We're not really sure. Anyway, we have with us everyone but Simmons, so basically important people, also people who are over 5 foot. Starting with someone who is like 2 feet over 5 foot. Hello, Mr. Indiana Sucks.
Yeah, Indiana sucks. Hey, Alex, do you remember like 20 seconds ago when you said but Simmons?
No.
But Simmons.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said everybody but Simmons.
Yes.
But Simmons. The Simmons
Okay.
with the butt on them.
Okay. Along with Chris, we have Jack.
Hey, you got me. I'm here. Nobody
Hello,
else is
Jack.
here.
No one else is here.
Nope.
Okay. We also have Andrew and some Canadian. Right. So this is going to be probably a less structured episode because we don't have Butt Simmons here. But we do actually have articles to talk about, which is rare. It's not
Yeah, how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's actually a bunch.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said we could probably actually do an episode.
You're welcome. They're not good, but there's a bunch at least.
Oh, did we add the Rocket Lake review that Anantech did? Oh, whatever.
No, I just
no,
heard
we
about that
don't.
today.
Oh, you can add that actually. That's pretty good.
You know
to
what?
Talk about.
Yeah.
Let's start with that.
Yeah, let's start with that.
Please. Please.
Okay, so long story short, Rocket Lake officially comes out on March 30th, and the embargo lifts on that day. However, a bunch of European retailers have been selling Rocket Lake CPUs for the past few weeks, and Anantech managed to get their hands on them. So Dr. Ian Cuttress managed to get the i7, the 11700K. So this isn't the i9, it's a little bit slower, but it's fine because the i7 and the i9 are both 8-core, 16-thread this generation. Like, there's no real meaningful difference between the two chips, and the i9 is just, like, overclocked. So, like, the i9's a bit faster. Honestly, you should probably go for the i7 this time around. Anyway, they are, in short, Rocket Lake sucks. So I pulled, because they put them in an Anantech bench, I pulled the new 11700K numbers versus the 10850K numbers, and I took the geometric mean of the relative benchmark scores. And if you ignore 3 benchmarks, Rocket Lake is about 1.5% faster. The 10-core Rocket Lake is about 1.5% faster than 10-core Comet Lake is about 1.5% faster than 8-core Rocket Lake. Now, the benchmarks that I ignored are one kind of encryption benchmark, and Rocket probably has like hardware acceleration for that this generation. And there was an AVX benchmark because Rocket Lake adds AVX 512. AVX 512, incidentally, is why it can use nearly 300 watts at stock, because AVX 512 runs incredibly hot because it's moving a ludicrous amount of data in and out of the core. It's not really indicative of like day-to-day use power consumption because nothing's really using AVX 512. But anyway, other things to note, gaming performance is actually worse than Rocket Lake. Sorry, worse than Comet Lake. I keep getting these names messed up. Gaming performance is a bit worse, and that's probably due to the core-to-core latency, because
The core-to-core latency just sucks. Just straight up.
it's bad. So usually with Intel stuff on a ring bus, like the Skylake family cores, it's about 20 nanoseconds or less between cores. However, with Rocket, it's like more than 20 nanoseconds. Like Comet Lake, when it came out, there were like some cores that were just higher latency than the others for whatever reason. And that weirdly high latency is actually better than the weirdly low latency on a couple of these Rocket Lake cores.
To make it a little bit easier, like Comet Lake with its 10 cores, the first 8 were acceptable. 18 nanoseconds at the best to like
Yeah, it's just
20
the ring
20
bus just stopped
nanoseconds.
scaling after
The
8.
last 2 sucked.
Yeah.
But with Rocket Lake, like I think the first 2 are good with 22 roughly 22 to 25 nanoseconds, which is the same as the worst Comet Lake, and all the others they go up to even like 31.4 nanoseconds or whatever. Yeah, it's a really hard metric to understand because no one really has measured this against anything else. It's kind of like just comparing these 2 CPUs. But the result is 1% lows. I think they did 5% lows in their test. Suck in a lot of specific things.
Yeah.
So it seems like where it needs to use more than 2 cores or like 4 cores, and it's not doing it nicely, like core 0, 1, 2, 3. It's doing like 0, 3, 5, 7.
Yeah.
It's going to suck with stutters.
I was confident that Rocket was going to be quite a bit better than this because
I would love the explanation, like the very technical explanation of why this is happening. Because, I mean, like you said, this is because it was designed for 10 nanometer,
right? And it got back 14. 14.
But I would like to kind of, that's like an explanation of why. But
it's probably just like there's just a bunch of knock-on effects here because you've now got longer wires, so that's going to add a few cycles, and now you've got bigger transistors, so that's going to take a little bit longer to charge, and now you've got longer retimers, and just in the end, you get a slower core.
The thing that I find very interesting is that cores 2 and 3, i.e. the third and the fourth core, are the best. 0 and 1 suck.
That's probably just weird stuff based on like which cores this benchmark is running on. There was a discussion about this on like an ARM server chip. I wouldn't look too much into that, but I don't know. Regardless, numbers aren't good. The core-to-core latency is probably explains the regression in gaming performance. What I was hoping was that like Rocket would be able to hit like 5.5 gigahertz out of the box. The i9 is supposed to do 5.3, and this i7 is doing 5 even. So like it's hitting the same frequencies as Coffee Refresh, Comet Lake, Ryzen 5000. Like it's all hitting 5 gigahertz even thereabouts. This is based on the Sunny Cove core, which was found in Ice Lake chips, which is supposed to be about 20% faster per clock than Skylake. So, you would expect, 20% higher IPC, so that should be 20% faster in single core. And even though it's missing 2 cores, each core is a little bit faster, so it should be a wash and multi-core stuff. But that's not what we're seeing. It is... I think it's going to be a side grade from a 10-core Comet or even a downgrade.
What I find also quite interesting, just purely on the latency standpoint, comparing either Rocket Lake or even honestly Comet Lake to Ryzen 5000, Ryzen 5000 has better latencies with regards to core-to-core as well as L1, 2, and 3 cache.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because from what I remember, AMD's always kind of been a bit sucky with that stuff. Or behind with Ryzen. So I didn't expect Intel to stumble like this with Rocket Lake. I didn't think it was going to be great, but I thought it was going to. I thought they were going to fix the issues with Comet Lake, hence why it being 8-core.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to exacerbate it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's also worth noting that a CPU's like microarchitecture is designed with certain frequencies in mind, and Sunny Cove was probably designed to be a mobile part first and no more than like 3 to 4 gigahertz at max. So now
So
we're
are we
pushing
back to
5,
net-
so it's not really
Wait.
designed for that.
Real question: are we back in net burst?
I mean, that's basically what Skylake has been, yeah. Although it wasn't intentional. It was just, oops, 10 nanometer.
No,
bro.
I don't think net burst was wholly intentional either.
No, I mean, Intel's goal was to scale it up to 10 gigahertz eventually.
Yeah, I suppose, but I don't think that was the intention from the beginning until the Athlon 2 just destroyed them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think Intel would have been doing what they're doing now. Like, I know a lot of people say Intel making more cores on, like when they went to 6-core and 8-core, that's not wholly caused by Zen because that would have had to be planned years in advance. But I think what Intel's doing now is definitely a reaction to Zen.
I think at this point it could be considered a reaction to Zen because
Yes,
it takes
at
a
this
long
point.
time to design these things. But
I think the 10-core Comet Lake is a reaction to Zen because
yes,
the engineers behind it would have known this is a bad thing to do because of the intercore latency, the cost, the lack of benefit to
Yeah.
the end user. This is just pointless.
Here's the thing, though. I think a substantial amount of this is actually caused not by Zen, but by 10 nanometer just getting stalled. Because
Yes,
remember,
but that's what I'm saying. So I think if Zen wasn't this big of a hitter, they would have actually gone, fuck it, we're just going to sit and like eke out our product a lot more while we have 10 nanometer in the background.
yeah. So if Zen just sucked, like let's say AMD had gone bankrupt,
Bulldozer 2.0.
let's say AMD had gone bankrupt and also Intel's 10 nanometer had worked, I think what we would have seen is Kaby Lake never would have come out. We would have seen 4-core 8-thread Cannon Lake instead. And then the following year, we would have probably seen 6 cores, even 8 cores with Sunny Cove. Because it's been a long time since we were supposed to get 10 nanometer parts. Like that was supposed to be 2016.
What I'm saying though is like even if 10 nanometer didn't work, I think the 9900K right now would be the latest CPU.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And they would have just like not released nearly as many CPUs.
Yeah.
Because forgive me if I'm probably wrong on the timelines, but I think the timeline between the 9000, 10,000, 11,000 series is a lot shorter than like 4, 5, and 6. I mean, 5, no one, that wasn't.
It was about annual. Kaby Lake to Coffee Lake, 7,000 to 8,000 was about 9 months, but everything after that has been about a 1-year cadence.
Really?
Yeah.
It feels like those were a lot longer gap between them, the 4,000 and the 6,000 series.
Well, so 4,000 to 6,000, keep in mind, there was the original Haswell release in 2013.
No, I'm going to not
Then
include
there was
Devil's Canyon. I'm not going to include Devil's Canyon.
Why?
It's the exact same thing, isn't it?
No. Well, okay. It's the same silicon or a new stepping at best. However, it was a new product launch. Intel intentionally refreshed the entire product stack. That was 2014's release. It was a brand new refresh of Haswell.
It was popular.
That was because they were having issues with 14 nanometer and they couldn't get Broadwell out. Which is why Skylake was the first proper desktop 14 nanometer release in 2015. But Devil's Canyon absolutely counts. Like that was a full product stack. Also came with new motherboard chipsets as well. Like, yeah, it's not even close to an exciting release, but it was that year's release.
This feels like a bigger gap to me. I'm not sure why.
I mean, because it was the same shit. Because it was like 2013.
Yeah.
When we got Haswell to 2015 before the next architecture. Not the next products, but the next architecture, which was what, let's be honest, that's the only thing that matters really.
I feel like it was actually really long lived, actually.
100 megahertz overclock. Who cares? Anyway, so it's also worth noting WCCF got their hands on a release table of like a bunch of new Rocket Lake parts. It's specifically the i7s and the i9s. They're all 8 cores. TDP is 35 watts, 65 watts, or 125 watts. 125 for the unlocked chips, 65 for the regular chips, and then 35 for the T chips, which have a base clock of like 1.5 gigahertz. So, I don't know. There's not much to it. Also, Intel backported Z graphics, which I guess is cool. But also, they're not very fast, and they're not coming to the whole Rocket Lake lineup, apparently. I think it's limited to the i5 and up, or maybe it's the i7 and up. I'm not sure.
Interesting thing I just saw, Elder Lake, the successor, it's actually supposed to be in 2021.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this year in the fall.
Just wait for Elder Lake, Chris.
Okay, so here's the thing. One, no, I've waited long enough. I started waiting for Ampere after Zen 2 came out. But number two, Alder Lake is going to be 8 cores of next-gen Sunny Cove-based architecture, plus 8 Atom cores. And
Why are
they're
they
doing big little,
big?
and I don't trust the Windows scheduler to do it properly.
I don't trust Intel to do it properly either.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen it with Lakefield, and it works all
No, but
right,
big little is like literally mobile. It's good with mobile, and that's about it.
Mhm.
Anytime it's on desktop, it's just like cool. I've indirectly spent money on 8 small cores that I don't care about.
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that as well. Number one, Intel has to have instruction parity with. I think there's supposed to be Gracemont cores, which is the next gen Atom core that isn't quite out yet.
Yeah.
However, Intel needs to get like instruction parity with these because that's what they did with Lakefield. Lakefield had Tremont and I guess Sunny Cove. AVX was unavailable on that because Atoms don't support AVX. If Intel is doing this for their like general purpose desktop and entry server chips, that implies that Gracemont is going to support AVX, which is also evidenced by their roadmaps that said Gracemont would have like improved vector instructions or something like that. So I don't know. It's something.
To be honest, I don't think. Yeah, probably go for Rocket Lake, I guess. But I don't like Elder. I mean, I don't trust Elder Lake to come out in 2021.
They should have just made a 10 core because so each quad core block of Atom cores is one stop on a ring bus or one like unit in a mesh.
Mm-hmm.
So with these architectures anyway. So Intel could have just made like 10 core Alder Lake. But they did. They made Atom cores. So wow, my desktop idles at lower power. Okay. And
why I don't think this is going to come out in 2021 is 3 simple things. 10 nanometer meme, PCIe Express 5.0, and DDR5.
I'm unconvinced that they're going to do Gen 5 on LGA 1700.
Which Gen 5? Because they're actually both now lining up PCI and DDR5.
Yeah. They could.
So, with memory at least, the memory controller is probably going to support both, like DDR4 and 5, I would assume, anyway.
What if they do a later refresh and we all have to buy new motherboards?
Oh, boy.
No, just motherboards with both slots on it. 2 of each.
No, that's so crowded.
That happened with DDR2. You got DDR2 and 3 on some motherboards.
Yeah. But also the memory controller supported both. DDR3 and DDR4 though have like no excuse because those are much more similar than any other previous 2 generations of
DDR5 is quite separate. What difference?
Oh yeah, yeah, because each channel is now 32 bits and ECC channels are 40 bits. It's worth noting that
you can have dual channel on a single stick now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. It's worth noting. Skylake also supported DDR3. It was DDR3L specifically because of the voltage. You can get some H110 motherboards that have DDR3 slots.
Yep.
And like Skylake CPUs, but there's not a whole lot out there. It's really just for like industrial embedded stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do think. Well, I know my next motherboard CPU is going to be a DDR5 thing. I'm kind of happy to get away from. I have my computer's cut. Wait, have I told you I have B die, right? Like Samsung B die.
Call me Samsung RAM.
That doesn't. No, my B die doesn't overclock.
Chris, that's my joke. Don't do that.
I could have jumped off a bridge today.
I have a BDI that's like that too. Yeah, it sucks.
It's like I was like, I'm going to get BDI so I can, overclock. I don't overclock it a lot, just a little bit.
Mhm.
Have low timings, relatively high frequency. While it does technically get to like 4.4 gigahertz, it's not stable at anything past the XMP, which is 3600.
Yeah,
Like,
same with- I
I
got
can
stuff
get
like
it
that,
really
too.
high to do benchmarks and everything like that. Just will never be stable permanently.
So
because-
wasn't part of the B-Die meme that it was really good with Ryzen more than
Yeah.
just overclocking?
So yes, but that's because you could have lower timings with the same or higher frequency, whereas
Oh.
other variants at that time could do the same frequency but were higher timings.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's with overclocking, not like if you're an out of the
Yes.
box RAM person, it doesn't matter. If you just get good RAM, you'll have good RAM.
Yeah,
Yes,
get good RAM.
But also part of like the whole thing with timings with Ryzen is because of the Infinity Fabric. You wanted to have your
Yep.
RAM at like a certain speed,
Yeah.
and if you've got tight timings out of the box, you can be a lot more flexible with loosening the timings and raising the speed. Or
And it seems like we're past that now.
with Infinity Fabric, no, we're not. Still,
Kinda. I mean, like
Well,
it doesn't
it's-
matter as much anymore.
It's much
Oh,
less of an issue
yeah.
now because like 8-core CCX. So as long as you've got a
Yeah.
5800X or lower, then
yeah, it's much less of an issue now.
everything's
I
on a
suppose.
crossbar, I think.
But it's still something that's, if you don't have that, it's still something that's decent to have at,
Yeah.
3600 instead of 37, 30.
Speaking
or whatever.
speaking of computers or
Yeah.
of Ryzen and also Rocket and Comet,
Love them.
so I've got a few options right now. I can get a 10850K for about $400 plus a motherboard for, I don't know, reasonably cheap.
Mhm.
I would go with a Z motherboard, but I realistically wouldn't really overclock. I could get a 5800X now that they're at MSRP,
Mhm.
and I could get either B550 or X570, and I strap an aftermarket heatsink to it because I do not want to have a heatsink fan or
Yeah.
chipset fan, excuse me. Or I wait on the 5900X to come back in stock and just go from there, I guess. I'm really just tempted to go like 10850K, Z490, and just call it quits. Because I'm
Yes,
just
do that.
and like recycle my RX 480 for now, just while I wait for a 3060 to come in stock at MSRP. Because like my desire for a fast computer is just going in the toilet by the day.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, I use this damn thing for hours every day, but also, what am I getting out of this exactly? Like, what kind of enjoyment am I getting out of it?
Well, and I bet
And it-
also, like, crashes aside, if your computer was totally stable with how fast it is,
Oh,
it's not really slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my 1500X is more than I need. Like,
Also,
for sure.
Here's
I
the
wouldn't-
thing. Here's the thing, though, Jack. Like, if it weren't for the fact that this thing is kind of falling apart at the seams, I would just hang on to it. I am
Oh, yeah.
perfectly satisfied with the performance that I'm getting now.
I
It is-
would as well. If I didn't have a 2070, I'd be on a 7950, which is ancient.
Yeah,
And with the
that's
current
right.
GPU
Only-
prices, if you can even find one,
Yeah,
I'd just stick with it because it worked. I'd just deal with the terrible performance.
yeah.
Well,
only
I mean,
reason
up
you got that
until-
was for VR.
Yeah.
Up until 2 months ago, Amy was still playing Minecraft on a Q6600 with the GT430 and still doing
Ah.
YouTube 1080p and everything else she needed to do, including video recording.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That's
it
the other
wasn't
thing.
fast,
I could,
fast. It could do 720p like OBS recording with a webcam. Can't do much more than that, but I mean, it's still good.
Axie.
Yeah.
720p is stored in the 720 balls.
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
That's 360 twice.
Yeah,
It is.
Double no. That's a double no scope.
that's because balls have 360 degrees because they
Times
are
two.
circles.
Well,
This
most
is
of them
really
have to.
deep conversation, guys.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
glad.
you.
I'm glad
Deep.
we're.
Oh, yeah.
Like I.
Alex.
Thoughts?
Alex.
Yes.
I got my 9900K. I'm going to be doing things with it. If you want me to like do things with mine to compare with yours just for a laugh, bother me about that.
You saying
we're
do
talking
things to a
competition.
CPU
Yeah.
are a bit concerning for me.
Oh yeah.
CPU is stored in the C balls U.
Yeah. See
What
balls.
I will
You.
be interested in is two things.
Mhm.
What is the lowest vCore voltage you can get it to be stable at stock
Mhm.
with? And I'm going to have two classifications for stable. One will be ADA 64. The other will be Prime 95 small FFTs. Prime 95 small FFTs is horrible. It's really
Folded at
bad.
home CPU is pretty bad.
No, Prime 95 small FFTs is satanic for some
I'm
reason on these
just giving more
CPUs.
options.
No, but what I want to know is if you can actually get it stable with that at stock and at 5 gigahertz, because
Okay.
I actually gave up with Prime 95 because it's stable, completely stable until I do Prime 95 for like 2 hours, then it crashes on 1 or 2 cores. But I've been running that overclock for like 2 months now. It's fine. When I say
Okay.
overclock, I actually mean stock with
Yeah.
different voltage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just be interested in what 5 gigahertz voltage is like and what your temperatures are like, because I just think I've got a satanic CPU.
Well, I'm going to rub it in, and I'm too lazy to install the fans on my Noctua again, so I'm just going to do the whole thing fanless.
Okay, well,
Should be fun.
Just point a desk
Put
fan
notice-
at it.
It won't be
don't put it
fanless.
in a
I'm a
case,
fan
Jack.
of it.
And just mount it upside down in like a plastic bin that's just filled with ice water. So only the heat sink is holding the whole motherboard upside down. Just
I
keep
love
adding
it.
ice.
That's
That
dangerous.
seems like a good way to get condensation on the motherboard, but yeah, sure, you can just
Yeah.
do that.
Metal is cool.
Oh man, I hope I didn't get blisters on my feet. If I did, it's Indiana's fault.
Yeah, feet. Who needs them?
Indiana is better than Kentucky, and I've already explained why. They
Yeah,
have
Diana, I
well-
barely know her.
Wales is better than England, and I won't be explaining why.
Okay,
you don't need to
talk
because I
Welsh.
agree.
Talk
Oh,
Welsh
okay.
right now. I want you to say a whole bunch of Welsh to me. Oh
That's
man,
Swedish.
that's good.
That's right.
But yeah, all Kentucky has is a stupid horse race and greasy chicken. Indiana has NASCAR, and they aren't allowed to eat cows because they worship them.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's India.
That's right.
Indiana.
But Andrew, have you considered that the Kentucky Motor Speedway is just notoriously kind of shit?
No, it isn't. Indianapolis 500 is the second most famous NASCAR race.
No, the
Yeah.
Kentucky Motor Speedway, not Indianapolis.
Well, oh yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's
So
just
You have to deal with terrible horse races.
No, that's Churchill Downs. That's-
This is
Anyway,
good content.
I'm
let's
very
talk.
confused right now.
Let's talk.
I know what he
Google.
was doing. It's good.
Let's talk about Google.
Well, that's amazing because I don't know what I was doing. And yes, let's talk about Google.
Yeah.
So, one thing I want to talk about, and then Axifer, forgot his name. Axifer can talk about the other thing. But so Google wants to replace cookies in Chrome. Now,
Good.
No, not good.
Yes,
So,
Jack, you're a cuck. We know.
Before you go
So-
further, was it
Oh,
cookies in
please
general,
shred on
or
me.
just third
Let him
party
explain.
let
cookies and
me
cross-site
explain.
cookies?
It's third party. So, you know how the whole thing about cookies have kind of come about because of the GDPR, and they have to tell you how they are tracking you and collecting your data. Hence why sites always say, "Oh, for a better experience, please accept all our cookies."
experience, please let us into your house and watch you pee.
Pretty much. And you don't need to do that if you just change the way it's done. i.e., Google's what's the word where they kind of masquerading saying this is for the better of privacy and the better of the user, but in reality,
horse fucking lie. I don't know.
Yeah, but in reality, they are just getting more control over the user and collecting data.
Mhm.
So they want to ban third-party cookies on Chrome. Ban is a really weird way to put it. It's kind of almost just change the way it's labeled and change the way it's managed. Because now, instead of the cookies kind of, third parties tracking you via cookies, they just want to just cut out the middleman and track you directly and collect all information on you directly. And you've already consented to this when you installed Chrome. So
Mhm.
that's
Hang on.
good.
When are they going to implement this? I'm going to guess 2022.
2022, yeah.
Do you know what else they are getting rid of in 2022?
Chromium, Electron, whatever,
What?
browser
No.
stuff.
Um,
Oh, they're getting
Google Chrome apps,
yeah,
which
Google
means
Chrome
no more ad
apps.
blockers.
Yeah. Like,
What? Why?
Well, they're just removing all of them. I don't know why. I didn't look into it. I can't be bothered. I don't use Chrome.
What about
But
the
yeah.
extensions, though? I mean, apps are different than extensions.
No, extension.
Yeah.
Like the App Store is going. Extensions are going. Like if you want to install them, you'll have to manually do it. Like go to the website and manually install
That cannot
it.
be right. That cannot be right.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, they can't
Anyway,
password managers.
Just
all
hang
that other
on.
stuff.
Chris, look up that in the background. Let's just talk about the cookies before you get too
Okay.
angry.
Okay.
So, actually, I think that's nearly the end of it. But basically, Google's going to inbuilt all of the stuff from third-party cookies and just give just give you no control over it. And you're going to have to be forced to accept it to use it. And what's really crappy about it, I think the worst part about all of this, no one will give a shit.
Yeah.
Because why Facebook fought against Apple, saying like Apple is going to introduce in the next update when websites will track you. On the app, it's going to pop up saying Facebook is tracking you for doing A, B, and C. Do you want this to continue? Yes.
Oh,
no.
Alex, keep in mind, Google sandbag putting out iOS updates for about 3 months after Apple required them to disclose like how their data is being used.
Yes. And also, no Google app has actually updated since then, which is kind of funny.
I think they have. I think they resumed, but it took a few months.
Yes, but what's interesting is Facebook, for example, put up a huge fight. They spent millions of dollars in advertising against this to say how customized ads are the best experience and all that crap, which is not even what Apple was trying to do. They're just trying to kind of do an indirect slander thing, because they know when people are presented with an option of, do you want to track me? Do you not want to track me? People were much more likely to say no. But when it's part of the install, the sort of the accepted agreements of just installing a product, the next install, people will always just go next install. Like, I swear I'm one of the few people that at least start reading some of that crap, because if you install Photoshop from very legitimate sites, you should really read that stuff, because it tells you, it's like, hey, we're going to install this, and this. And I'm like, no, okay, no.
Legitimate sites like Adobe.com, home of the Adobe Creative Cloud.
Yes,
I don't remember what the company was that did that sort of thing where they put in the terms of service. If you see this, email this address and we will give you $5,000. And I think it took something like 3 years before someone actually did that.
There was one company that put something that was like, if you agree to this and we gain possession of your soul, and that was held to like not actually be valid, because I think somebody went to court over it, which is very funny.
Yeah, there's another one with iTunes where you can't use iTunes in making nuclear weapons, and it took quite a while before someone found that.
Honestly, that's probably just some generic cover your ass kind of thing. Like, if there's like some Iranian dude working in a facility full of a bunch of fun centrifuges, then, well, he's violating Apple's terms of service. Also, he probably doesn't care. And frankly, Apple probably doesn't care either.
Just put an iPod and a Bluetooth speaker on a nuclear weapon and fire it at someone.
But But like the thing that is also so dangerous about this is like not that everyone's going to obviously accept. Well, part of it is that everyone's going to accept it, but Google's going to do a big ad campaign about how they care about users' privacy, just like other companies are doing now, and how we're taking control back by getting rid of third-party cookies and just integrating it all into it anyway, and like how probably companies are going to have to go to Google to pay Google all this data versus just collecting it directly now.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that fingerprinting is one of the issues in which, okay, let's say I go to a website and it sends off a bunch of anonymized information about me. That anonymized information can still be used to like fingerprint me. Like, for example, if I'm in like 100 different categories, there's not that many people out there where all 100 of those categories will overlap in the same way. There's also some fun stuff that cookies can do. Like they can pull your browser dimensions, which is useful if you want to find out, like, let's say, how many people are using your mobile site versus your desktop site, or I suppose how many people are using a smartphone versus a computer to browse your website. Or, well, maybe they're using an uncommon resolution because they aren't using the browser full screen. And, oh, hey, that's weird that this person whose browser window is X by Y has gone to page X, Y, and Z. And also they've got all of these cookies in their browser history because we pulled those as well. Like, there's a lot of creepy stuff you can do with it. But, like, I have absolutely... There is not any chance that Google is being altruistic about this.
They've gotten worse over time. They've gotten exponentially worse since they revoked their phrase of "do no evil."
Yeah, it's almost like that correlates with them starting to do evil. The thing is, though, I don't want to say that I trust Google with this. However, I do trust Google to keep my information kind of secure because Google's business is selling my information. And if that leaks out, that's a lost sale. That doesn't really have anything to do with like my privacy. That has nothing to do with respect and everything to do with their business. But it's something.
I mean, that's kind of the same along the lines of like Apple also collects a crap ton of this information, but they have no interest in selling it to anyone outside of Apple. So,
yeah.
Anyway, you can't win in this privacy standpoint unless you just go extreme. It's all about finding a mid ground where it's usable, it doesn't impact your life that much, but you're also not just being...
Well, Alex, you do have to weigh the pros and cons of trying to like live off the grid versus flooding the system with noise. For example, if I try to browse Google anonymously, if I slip up once, then all of that comes crashing down and all my efforts were for nothing. But if I decide I'm going to make a bot and it's going to query Google for like 3 random words that it just generated from a dictionary like every 15 seconds or something.
Yeah, but what happens? No, you're going to get, how there's a shitpost bot. You're going to get like how to make bomb. It's like,
it's going to be, well, what's the XKCD comic? It buys random stuff from eBay and it ends up like bear trap, ski mask, latex gloves, map of the Capitol building.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, we're spinning this down because I'm going to get on a list.
Anyway, we can move on from this.
Right. Yeah. Wait. One last thing. Chrome apps. Chrome apps getting deprecated. That is not Chrome extensions. That's something else. That's like Google Sheets or.
Yeah, the apps, like I kind of said, like it's the apps. They're called apps.
Oh, okay.
It's not extensions. I could see Google trying to get rid of ad blockers, but I don't think they would because they would just kill a substantial amount of their market share.
Wait, hang on. The apps are getting deprecated like Google Sheets?
Yeah, the thing that you install into your browser so you have like support for it outside your browser? You know, like you have Google Music installed and it'll synchronize with the folder in the past.
Oh my god, that's going to make Chromebooks just brick themselves as soon as they lose internet connection.
I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with that, though. That's more built into the OS than the web browser. Well,
I would hope
the
so,
OS
but
is the
I'm
browser.
uncertain. Anyway, I turned the oven on, and Dad just came down to inform me that I turned the oven off. I got distracted and was drinking Fireball, and I'm going to make pizza.
That's a good dad. I like dads that
I've
remind
eaten
me.
the pizza
He doesn't
and
want the
I've
house
out
to burn
eaten
down.
hot food.
Oh,
Agreed. Also, shut up, Andrew.
That was not very nice of him.
yeah.
Anyway, Axafuri,
Yes.
what is Google doing with Lyrical?
Well, it wasn't a huge article here, but basically Google's working on yet another codec that's probably going to get axed in 3 to 4 years. Maybe not. We'll
Nice.
see. But it's the new Lyra Voice codec alongside with their whatever they're specially doing with AV1 with some super encryption, which is probably some crazy hardware encryption or something. But definitely a very CPU intensive encoding side of it is a video chat over the equivalent of dial-up internet. I mean, it is still kind of relevant because you still have a huge chunk of the world that doesn't have access to remotely fast internet. So it's kind of funny that we are going back to basically cell phone 3G speeds as the baseline and trying to have a video codec that can work for that so people can, work at home remotely, but for some reason companies want to also see your face and be able to track you or track students when they're doing work and be able to face track everyone.
Yeah, that whole thing is like
If
ever
Google
since
can pull this off, it's similar to what NVIDIA is doing with their AI-based encoding, where it tries to A, only focus on what needs to be encoded, so basically your face, and B, rebuild that with AI on the receiving end to even further reduce the amount of data that has to be sent. But that kind of relies on NVIDIA hardware, whereas at least Lyra and AV1 just needs encoder and decoder support, which can be on anything from ARM to x86 to GPUs.
Video chats over 56K? Oh, that's 3K for audio. Okay, I see. Yeah. Computers are just making things up now. That's what machine learning is. Do androids dream of electric sheep? No, they dream of deep fake porn. I don't know.
Yeah, there's dogs everywhere.
Can I do that?
Dogs are nice. You can deep fake porn if you want.
Mhm.
There's nothing
Yeah, I guess-
stopping you, although it's probably illegal.
Wait.
News, I guess. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just picturing just training just a neural network on a whole bunch of porn, and then I just type in, I want this, and it makes me a video. I'm in.
Oh my god.
Put Danny DeVito on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I want Danny
You should-
DeVito. Let's go.
You should borrow 3090 for that, and then you could just return it and say, this has generated some questionable content. Do you actually want it back? Or do you want me to hold on to it for you?
Replacing Sasha Grey with Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah. I get it. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't you like that idea, Alex?
So how do you
I have
pronounce
seen some videos out there of someone who replaced lady adult actresses with the face of that guy from the How Do You Do, Fellow Kids.
Yeah, Steve
And,
Buscemi. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing a GPU market out there now where you now have filters for not what type of GPU it is. It's what it's been used for in the past. Was it gaming? Was it mining? Was it AI porn generation?
Is it
Was
a
it
bit
deep
sticky
learning?
because of that?
I mean, just because I keep my side panel off doesn't mean. Anyway.
That would suck if you short out your computer that way, though. Just saying.
Yeah, it would. Actually, I really dislike that thought. Please never have it again.
Yeah,
You're
don't
welcome.
think like that, Axie. No thinking aloud.
No
Too late.
thinking. Thinking is illegal.
Yeah, we got to leave that to our musky neuro chips.
Yeah, I want to get the Muskie Neuralink chip so I can become as smart as Muskie Husky.
Yeah,
We're
that'll
just gonna
dumb
put
me
the entire
down.
world on autopilot, and they can just hop around and explode randomly.
I sincerely believe that if I got a team of surgeons hired by Muskie Husky to put a chip in my brain, I would become as smart as Muskie Husky himself.
So
Why would you
you'll
want to
dumb
decrease
yourself
your
down.
IQ?
That's
That's
the
the
joke.
joke.
Thank you for saying it.
Yeah.
I should have used tone indicator tags in my
/SRS.
/HJ. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, /hand job.
Yeah. Actually, Jack, that would be /SX for sexual intent.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that was a
Jack, I
thing.
love you /SX.
Cool. Yeah, same.
Is there one about thinking is illegal? Let's see. That's long boys and long food. Oh, here we go. Stop having thoughts.
Yeah.
I have one about absolutely no cool dudes.
Very illegal.
Yeah. I don't know where it is.
I like two cool dudes.
Yeah. Stop you missed your chance, pal. If you see a horrid beast evolving, push it back. Jack, please include this picture in the thumbnail.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our blessed ground.
Oh, this plane has oxygen switched off. That sounds like a bad thing.
Oh.
Oh,
Switch off
you
the
can't switch it on.
oxygen and switch on the nitrogen.
You're on the no oxygen ride.
Isn't that just what the euthanasia coaster is?
Yeah.
No, doesn't the euthanasia coaster just kill you from G-forces?
Yes, but I'm pretty sure it's because it just sucks the blood into your feet. You just go into G-lock for long enough that you become brain dead because
Wait, do you
Well, I
have to
did
be
that.
a euthanasia to ride it, or can you just be anyone?
they don't discriminate. You can be anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's probably still a height limit for it, though. Sorry, sir, you're too short to ride the euthanasia coaster, says the theme park attendant to Simmons as I flip him off and get on the roller coaster.
Now, if you're too short, they'll just have an alternative where they tie you to the track.
Oh,
Do you think people would be sad when they were taking it?
I don't know, but I do know that it would have there would be the most metal theme park job in history because somebody has to get the corpses out of the coaster when it returns to the station.
Oh, fun
Yeah.
fact about that. It actually does 2 laps in case you survive the first time.
Oh yeah, it's way overkill, just in case. Yeah,
Right.
there's 7 and decreasingly large loops just to make sure that you're at like 10 Gs at all times.
Well, what happens if you like do the first loop and you're like, I don't want to die?
Well, that sucks for you because the roller coaster has a top speed of 220 miles an hour. Also, the G-lock would probably get you in the first loop.
But what happens if you survive the first loop? And then you're like, I don't want to die.
You're going to
But
die
then-
in the second loop. I don't know.
Well, if you survive the first one, you'd probably be unconscious, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm unconscious.
Yeah. Oh wait, that reminds me. Did I ever talk about the realization that I had in Cyberpunk? I feel like Cyberpunk has been out long enough that like mild spoilers.
no
So-
one cares. Just spoil it.
Yeah, so anyway, long story short, in Cyberpunk, you're sitting in the back of a self-driving taxi with a character, and that character just dies. And one of the options that you have is you can tell the taxi to take the body back to his family.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that technology is now at the point with like Teslas and autopilot that you can just have a heart attack on your commute home from work and your self-driving car is just going to deposit your corpse in the driveway where your loving wife will come out and just like find you fucking dead in the driver's seat.
Aw, I hope she cradles me in her arms and curses the gods that I'm dead.
But I think
Who's my wife?
is cool. We're finally at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad that we're into this hobby. This is a good hobby.
Of overthinking every tech article went into not being tech anymore.
Yeah. So what
Yeah,
about this
sure.
Intel SSD? Why is it so
Oh, yeah.
expensive?
It still sucks.
Well, okay, so with the new price drops, it's
What do you
actual
mean price
performance
drops?
numbers. now.
Nothing ever drops in price. Things only go up in price.
Except the balls.
Or an overpriced SSD on launch.
Yeah.
But it's actually reaching in random reads the performance of TLC drives.
Oh, is it
And it's got-
QLC?
Yeah, it's QLC.
That's the
That's
Intel
garbage then.
660p or 670p. It's the new one.
670p stored in the 670 balls.
Nice.
So there was a massive price drop. With the new price drop, it's priced similarly to TLC drives of the same capacity, but it's actually reaching the same random read speeds.
Okay, but hang
and
on,
the same
Axie.
rights
Yeah, but that's probably
as long
because
as
it's
it's
just got
only
an
in
SLC
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 mode.
cache.
Axie, let's take a look here. Let's take a look here for a second.
Okay.
70
Alex,
bucks.
the SLC cache won't make a difference for reading because
Axie,
you read from the
let's take a
QLC.
look here. No, who cares? Let's take a look here. $70 for half a terabyte, $130 for a terabyte, $250 for 2 terabytes. That's not very good. Like 1 terabyte NVMe TLC drives are under $100 right now.
Yeah, I just bought
I
one
got
for
a 2
120.
terabyte. Yeah, I got a 2 terabyte SATA drive for like 170, and this is $80 more. And yes, I realize it's NVMe, but it's also QLC. Like,
What price- are you using the updated price or the launch prices?
I am looking at the updated price because the launch price was just garbage. Like twice as much per gigabyte as a typical SATA drive, let alone like NVMe drive. Or sorry, twice as much as a typical NVMe, let alone SATA. Excuse me, wrong order there. It's not very good, and I'm very, very skeptical. Like, yeah, okay, AnandTech's benchmarks here are pretty good, but also how much of this is because it's just like benching SLC caching?
Yeah.
Because it's right below the 980 Pro. I don't buy it. I don't think that's real. I don't think that's meaningfully real.
In SLC, it would be. It's just how long does that SLC last is the issue.
But that's
It's
the
not
thing,
gonna be good for
because it's a
sustain.
hard drive. I bought a hard drive to fill it up with data. So,
Yeah, you want to write real fast.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I mainly care about read benchmarks. And like for worm workloads, your write once, read many workloads, this is perfectly adequate.
Exactly. So that's why I kind of
But-
put in the notes here is if you're looking for something for, game and media storage, it's great. Or just
I
a
would
basic server
still-
cache drive where it's never going to be full. It's just simply there to cache your network rights. It's going to be great for that purpose because it'll just SLC and then
I wouldn't want to use it for caching though.
Yeah.
Like,
why not?
because it's still QLC in the end. I don't trust it enough.
But it would be fine if it's like I use them in my Unraid box. It's perfectly fine for caching my network rights at full speed over 10 gigabit. And then anything I do want to keep on there, like let's say a VM or two, or some long things I want to keep on the SSD storage of my rest of my spinners, or not of my spinners, can be accessed no problem. It's definitely not for every workload. Like you would not use this for a boot drive, definitely not. For heavy write stuff, so like video encoding, 3D modeling, stuff like that, yeah, definitely not. It's got super high power draw at max, so it's not good for laptops because it's going to make a lot of heat. And
because it's QLC.
we all know how good laptops have for heat sinks for M2 drives. None at all. So yeah, it's by no means a great drive at the price, but it is competitive. If you walked into a store and you had this versus something else, you wouldn't be making a bad choice buying this.
I'll be honest, Axie, I would either get SATA to save money or I would get TLC for better performance consistency. But frankly, the thing with QLC is it's just not cheap enough to really justify it over TLC. Because there's a lot of TLC NVMe drives that are cheaper than this.
Actually, you didn't really sell me on the product when it's like, this is
I'm not
bad,
trying to sell you.
but it's not awful.
It's like,
Or you are.
You're selling me on it as it's mediocre, but it's a decent value, which, well, I'll go with it's mediocre and it's a great value. Oh,
Cool.
Yeah.
QLC just doesn't get me excited. If QLC were cheaper, then it would. But the problem with like multi-layer flash, SLC to MLC, wow, that's twice as many bits per cell. That's twice the density in like one fell swoop. MLC to TLC, like, all right, that's 50% more like data density. MLC to QLC, 33% better. But QLC to PLC, once that comes out, 25%. Like it's really diminishing returns. I hope QLC is the last one that we see. I really hope it doesn't beyond that.
See
These nuts.
What?
Yeah. You can. Ouch.
Yeah.
Right after the intro.
Yeah.
Or during the intro, you introduce Chris.
Make it the intro.
It's the intro. Yeah. Yeah, because our intro sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just do that. And then like put some nice effects on it, like echo and reverb. And
Oh, yeah.
anyway, AMD is coming out with an announcement for a product that's going to come out in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, the 6700 XT is going to come out in the future.
I'm going to buy 5 of them and I'm going to mine cryptocurrencies.
If you really don't know about this, it is the same Navi 22 silicon, 7 nanometer, 12 gigs of GDDR6, not X, on a 192-bit wide bus. It has less bar memory, I think they call it, the Infinity Fabric. The Infinity Fabric is smaller, which shows how stupid of a name Infinity Fabric is.
Yeah.
Basically, it looks like it's going to be maybe a bit worse than a 3070. What is a little bit interesting about the current RX 6000 lineup is they don't nicely line up to NVIDIA's products this time. No, it doesn't really seem to be like direct competitors.
Yeah.
And AMD's using like old generation NVIDIA to compare it against. So that helps muddy the waters even further. All in all, this doesn't matter because it's going to come out at $480 and you will never be able to buy one. Yeah. It's basically slightly worse than a 3070. If you can even find either of those, it's a good decision to make. If you can find them at MSRP, which you won't.
Yeah.
Like a lot of graphics cards, and it's not just me or us, and like so many people are just like, oh, another graphics card. I just don't care because I'm not going to buy it. And it's not like I'm not going to buy it if I could. I can't. So this is just, it's pointless. It's like caring about supercar releases. No, I don't give a crap that the Chiron does 0 to whatever and whatever.
I disagree, Alex. It would be more like a limited release of the Yaris or the Type R or something where this is affordable for an enthusiast. They can budget around it. But
good luck
there's just
finding
not
one.
enough to go around for everyone to have one.
Yeah, I suppose. It's like, yeah, I suppose it's like the new Supra Tri. No, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to really compare it to cars. But just, I'm glad I bought a 1080 Ti and I've just sat on it. My friend sold his 1080 Ti just before the 3000 launch. You know, when everyone was selling their cards because they were like, oh my goodness, it's, these cards are going to be so much cheaper and have so much more performance. I need to sell my card now while it's still got some value. He sold his 1080 Ti then, and 1080 Ti's are going for above MSRP now.
Oh my God. I'm looking at 2080 Ti's right now, and these things are still going for over $1,000. These things are going for over MSRP.
Chris, so what 1080 Ti's? I saw 1080 Ti FTW3 for $1,150.
Are you shitting me?
I paid $950 for mine. Like, I was like, ooh, I'm getting ripped off by paying like $100 over MSRP for this thing. But as South African, what can I do?
I hate this. This sucks.
I know, like I felt ripped off being $100 over MSRP, paying $950 instead of $850 in 2017 for my card.
I'll be
Now
honest,
people are
though.
like, "Oh, I only paid $300 over MSRP on a $1,500 graphics card."
I'm just glad that I got my my 480. Got it on launch day. Wasted $40 on it because I could have got the 4 gig version and unblocked the VRAM.
You didn't know though, so
Well, I mean, I did buy it before I learned that, but also I
Oh.
did not believe that that was a thing that you could do because it sounded too stupid to be real.
yeah.
Um, But yeah, it was like, $240, $6 shipping. It was GTX Titan performance. And it's lasted me this long. And I'm honestly tempted to sell it right now.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to sell it. I'm tempted to plug in. I might take it out of my desk PC. I might put in the 750 Ti. Just temporarily sell the 480, sell the 780 in my server, make a little bit of cash that way.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I just looked at my 2070 Super. I bought the thing for $569, and it's going for like $750, $800 on eBay.
Yeah,
I'll
For
go
like
to it. I'll go
480s?
to an RX 550 for a little while just to make some
Mhm.
money.
Yeah.
Honestly, Jack, if you don't play any games that need it, I'm saying I would lower the settings just to make a quick like $500.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, people are bidding 150. Well, that's a 780 Ti. People are bidding about what I spent on the 780 a few years ago.
Yes, there's
RX
inflation and
480s
stuff
are
like
going
that,
for
but still,
close to 200, I think.
yeah, like there is obviously inflation, price change.
Reference card, 260 or best offer, 4 gigabyte, pre-owned, 117 sold.
Yeah, it's a deal.
Damn. Like people are buying the reference cards for a decent amount of money.
Oh, the
4 gig
funniest
reference
thing.
card over $100, 40 bids, 2 days left.
The funniest thing I've seen is people pricing up old graphics cards. And when I say old graphics cards, I'm talking about like GTX 580s or
God.
760s. You know, like
Mm.
things that will not mine, let alone efficiently. Like I've seen a GTX 960 for $400.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to sell, but people are going crazy. This is local. It's not eBay.
Okay.
People put money for anything.
Once again, I must reiterate, why are people trying to upgrade their computers right now? This is such a bad time to be buying parts.
People
You
feel
just
the
don't
desperate
have
need
to
for
buy
it.
things.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, there's just this like people feel the need to buy a new part right now, and
What
like
about
I've
people
said,
that need to part because they don't have one.
no. Like I've said before, like this is obviously affecting some people, like Simmons or whatever, whose computer's broken.
Is this a
I'm going
reflection of the same thing that makes people go to the store when there's a pandemic and buy a whole bunch of toilet paper? People are hearing there's
Oh my
not computer
God, what
hardware, so now they want to get it because there isn't any.
Well, kind of like it's a lot of factors that have played into it in terms of people were holding off, the 2000 series sucked, etc., etc., etc. But ultimately, yeah, if you can hold off, just do.
Yeah. No, I mean, I plan on buying, new parts, but those are available at about MSRP because I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to rip myself off because I'm fine with what I've got. It's half broken, but it's workable. It's just like, it's just completely inexplicable. It's like people convince themselves, I'm going to upgrade when the 3000 series comes out. And I guess they're the kind of person who like buys computer parts like 1 or 2 a month at a time, which I also don't understand because like, admittedly, I've done that with storage, but also with storage. I can use that right now. And I was considering doing that with DRAM, but also I had reason to believe that the price would go up, and I'm pretty sure it has. But it's not like I'm going to be buying a motherboard, waiting 3 months, and then buying a CPU because that's just stupid. Prices are going to come down. It's like I don't know. I honestly don't know. And it's like, it's this last piece that they need. I don't know. You know what? That's reason to get a 10850K. I can just run off. I can build a new PC. I can run off the IGP for a bit, and then I can drop in a 3060. And I can sell my 780 and my 480 and make some cash.
And who knows, after I review Rocket Lake, maybe I'll sell you my chip.
Oh, are you actually getting Rocket?
I mean, I have to at this point to, yeah.
Fair enough. Are you going to get the i9 or the i7? I feel like you're going to go for the i7 because it's, cheap and the same.
Basically, yeah, unless, I don't know, Silicon Lottery comes out with like a chart showing that it is binned a whole lot better, then yeah, I'm just going to get the i7.
Yeah. Also, bench Z graphics as well while you got a shot, because you do have the 9900K and you've got an 8700K. Like you've got the GPU Intel's been using since 2015.
Yeah, that'll be actually kind of interesting to check out for once. Yeah, it's Z. It's weird hearing it Z. I like XE. Thank you. That's my pronoun.
Yeah. Yeah. Proud of you.
Goodness gracious me. So, yes, 6700 yeet.
Yeet.
I mean, I guess, Alex, like just thinking about the toilet, or Jack, the different thing about the toilet paper comparison.
Yeah.
Sorry, what, the toilet?
Yeah.
The toilet paper comparison. Panic.
Oh.
I guess the difference there is like, most people don't have super soakers for their buttholes, aka the day. So toilet paper is actually something of a necessity. You don't need a graphics card.
What do you mean? I need a graphics card, Chris?
There's a lot of people out there that their priorities are really weird.
Also, similarly, people who are trying to get like a new Xbox or PlayStation 5 right now, when like, why? There aren't any new games for them. Yes, if you're looking for a console, like you don't have an Xbox One or a PS4, all right, fine, that's understandable. But if you're just
Chris,
looking to upgrade, what's the point? Like, I don't understand the idea, like the mindset that leads people to seek out annual upgrades.
Right now, anyone who can afford to buy a new GPU can also afford to buy a bidet anyway.
You know what, Axie? You're probably right. Bidets are bougie nonsense.
And you save the money on buying a computer chair at that point.
Oh my god, who's
the
that?
bidet is an investment because of all of the money I'll save on butthole paper.
Yeah,
You can spend that on your computer build. That's going to be your bathroom PC build instead.
Why did I
Just
get
use a
painted
bathroom VR?
corner?
What?
It's for a very rare image of iDubbbz.
Oh. You being taco enthusiast, god damn it. I mean, I don't know, that's a ball sack, all right.
Yeah.
Andrew, I might have deleted the one picture of iDubbbz's balls from that one frame in a video that he edited out.
I think it's in Discord somewhere.
Hang on. I found
Probably
it on
the
Reddit,
naughty
I
corner.
think. So reddit.com iDubbbz balls.
Thanks, Chris.
That's not it, because that's a video. I want images. Let's go to Google Images for this.
Is this really relevant to the podcast anymore?
No. No.
No,
I think we're pretty much done because we covered Rocket Lake at the beginning.
Did we talk about the new AMD stuff?
What new AMD stuff?
The 6700 XT?
We were just talking about it.
Chris?
Oh, yeah,
And
I
you
was
even
upstairs
did-
getting my pizzas. I sent a picture of the pizzas, and
You did. I loved them. They're good pizzas.
honestly, though, they're pretty good. They're about as good in the oven as far as flavor goes. They are no better in the oven. As far as texture goes, yeah, they are. So I will stick to the microwave.
Okay. Well, as an Italian, I look at that and I don't approve, but you could eat it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can wrap this up then. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and bye.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a picture of a man's scrotum and not having any luck. Bye-bye.